So with that, I'd like to go ahead and turn it over to Joaquin. So let me just give you a little bit of background. Joaquin can fill this in, but he's going to be doing a lightning talk on Streaminy, which is to help with real-time visualizations. And Joaquin's the developer of Streaminy, has a lot of experience on data warehouses, streaming data, and full stack development. He's worked at companies like Michelin and Telefónica. So with that, Joaquin, why don't you go ahead? I'll mute and let you take over.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Robert, for the warm presentation. I'm going to talk about real-time analytics and visualization and how we can build them using ClickHouse. So I'm going to share the screen. Let's see. Here we go. Okay, so now you should see my screen. I'm going to talk about the Streaminy as a visualization tool. We can build visualizations by ourselves. I'm going to explain how we can do that even without using a Streaminy. But if we want to do it fast and we have our instance already running, we can use a Streaminy, or any open source visualization tool can be also good for this. The difference with Streaminy is that we are going to run a recurrent query. I'm going to explain that in a little bit. We can build visualizations, dashboards, and even share the visualizations that we are trying to build. And also we can explore and troubleshoot. For example, if we are building a real-time materialized view or a real-time table, we can use Streaminy to explore what is happening in real time on our tables or our views. So if we think about the visualization tools that we have nowadays, I'm going to minimize this. We run one query, we retrieve the information that we want, and we render that into the screen to our user, to our BI presentation, or anywhere. And that's it. We are not going to query that information again. Maybe we are going to query the next day or the next week, depending on our use case. Then we have different visualizations. For example, if we are using Grafana, we can set up a query that's going to run every 5 seconds or every 10 seconds. And we are going to retrieve with high frequency the data that we have in on our views or our materialized views. And then we have the next step, that is we're going to ask for this information all the time, because if we have a materialized view and we have our information ready to query, why don't we query that information with more frequency all the time, every second, every time that we can, okay, without killing our database, of course. So this is the next step that we are trying to build, where we are going to query a materialized view or a table and retrieve that information and update our visualizations with high frequency. And to do that, we need to achieve a smooth transition from the old data to the new data. That can be very complex, but we are going to see how we can achieve that. If we want to try this by ourselves, we can use, for example, if we are using Node.js or JavaScript or different technologies, we can retrieve the information from ClickHouse. We can transform and write that information into a socket. We can use socket.io because it's available in multiple languages. You have it in Java, in Node, in C, so you can use it on different languages. So I think it's a very good alternative. And then you send that information to your front end or to your back end. The use of sockets when you're working with real-time data, I think is very important, because you are going to get better performance, and the package that you are going to be sending to the client is going to be lower. So I recommend, if you are trying to build real-time things, to use sockets. And also when you're reading the information from ClickHouse to a stream, and to try to have the back pressure inside your backend, and do not send that to your customer or to your clients or to your visualizations. So we are going to see how we can use Streaminy for this. So the first thing that you're going to see is the homepage. You can log in. And the first thing that you will encounter is the dashboard. On the dashboard, you can add all the views that you have created, and you can see in real time how they change. As you can see, the values are changing very frequently because we are requesting all the time the newest data, and we are rendering that. And we try to do it the most smoothly possible. I'm going to show how to run. For example, I have a ClickHouse instance already running. I have different tables and views. Here you can notice that this is a materialized view, so we know that it's going to be very fast. We are going to query the information. We are going to retrieve the data very fast because we are using ClickHouse and it's materialized, and we are going to render that. So here is an example of a query. I'm going to run this. And here you can see that we are retrieving the data and it's changing very, very fast. We are receiving new data and it's also changing. We can sort it just to keep the columns on the same place. And we can create, for example, I'm going to create a bar chart. And we can see how the values are changing very, very fast. If we want to build something like this, I recommend to use Chart.js and Socket.io. And for this example, I'm using React on Streaminy. So that's everything that you will need to build a real-time application or a real-time visualizations. And then you can create this and even share it on any place or add it back again into your dashboard and see how it's changing all the time. So going back to the presentation, I don't know if anyone has any questions. This has been a lightning talk, and I've been very fast. I've been talking very, very fast. So I don't know if anyone has any question out there. I'm going to stop sharing for a second.
Hey, Joaquin, this is a great talk. Can you just give us like a little bit of, like if I were, like a Node developer or something like that, how would I put this together? How would I put together what you just showed us? Because that was totally cool. These dynamically updating views. What's the path for me to begin to build that app?
Okay, so if you are a developer and you want to build something in real time using Node.js, I will recommend to use, there is public packages to connect to ClickHouse. There is the ClickHouse package. You can use that one where you can stream the data from ClickHouse. Then you can build pipelines using Node.js technologies because pipelines have an internal mechanism to build pipelines that can help you to transfer the information, to read and to write all of that information into a socket. Or you can send it to a user or just set up a SQL inside your Node.js application or a table or a map or anything that you want, and then send that information to your customers, to your users. So that's one way to build it using pure Node.js and nothing else, only Node.js and the ClickHouse package that is available on NPM. And for the front end, there are multiple technologies. There is React, Angular. You can select any technologies that you want. And if you want to have a good charting library to build these visualizations, I recommend to use Chart.js because when you update information, it does the job very good. And if you want to have even better animations for the front end, you can have something like Visu that is pretty new and also open source. So
cool. I got a question for you. Is Streaminy a SaaS or can I host it myself?
Right now it's a SaaS. We are thinking about the option to host the application by itself.
Okay. And do you have a link that you could post so that people can find out more information about this? By the way, if there are any other questions, please just throw them up here and we'll get them over to Joaquin. Go ahead and post that out on the chat.
And also, if anyone has any question on how to build a real-time visualization or something like that, feel free to reach me out. I'm going to post my email, so you can send me an email, a message, and I will be very glad to help you to build anything. So
Sure. Yeah, if you can get all that information posted in the chat directed to everyone, then people will have that and be able to contact you.